Hello, and thank you for joining me on Eight. I am Maggie. We are joined here by Believe, who's going to be believing with us this year, 2023, as everybody is coming through with their dreams, goals, and forward focuses. So, it could be in health, wealth, love, relationships, their careers, whatever it is, we're going. And what we are doing here, we are doing this lovely book, Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And why are we doing this book? Because it is a book on how to change lifelong self-defeating thinking habits. We are in part 3. Part 3 is more of the action part. If you are wanting to hear more about like how he kind of unpacks it and helps lead into the process, go back and listen to the other videos. We've covered the whole book. So we're in the third part, and we are getting in the short stretch, long stretch of getting home. So we are in chapter 12 now. The first question, is it true? I shall try to correct errors when shown to be errors, and I shall adopt new views so fast they shall appear to be true views. Abraham Lincoln. I've heard estimates from those who engage in such accounting practices that the average adult has approximately 60,000 separate thoughts in a 24-hour period. So think about that. We have at least, and the more that people are working on their meditation practices, their prayer practices, their grounding practices, it could be even more. So anyway, 60,000 separate thoughts in a 24-hour period. Even more startling is that we think the same 60,000 thoughts today that we had yesterday and will have tomorrow. Thus, many of us go through our daily lives in a habitual pattern, endlessly repeating the same thoughts over and over again. Okay, so this is the thing though. This is why if you have had trauma or abuse, the rapid EDMR would be very good. If you're working on pulling out working with a healer or somebody that's healthy in the psychiatry arts, who's actually there not to medicate you, but to help you get to the root, to pull out the root and reprogram. So neuro-linguistic programming helps to do that. Just taking some of these educational articles upon how the brain works. You want to train your brain. It's your computer to work for you, like getting the reticular activating system to be, you program it with what you want it to do, and it goes out and gets it. The other thing was using your hypnagogic state, so that right before you fall asleep or during your time of meditation, when you're in that like not quite asleep and not quite awake, you're imprinting into your mind what it is that you want to bring forth. We're moving in a positive direction. So get a look at Brian Scott's channel, Reality Revolution. Please get a look at Josiah Brandt's channel, School of Imaginations. He really hits the Neville Goddard work hard. Brian does that as well. But Josiah Brandt, his school is excellent. If that's not your deal, I would recommend hitting up Reality Transurfing with Buddy Zealand, who really hits like the quantum physics side of it. The more that science starts to come out, it's just showing you that if we learn these principles, our life could be a lot better, and our thoughts, what we are programming and doing with our mind, could be a lot better. Because a lot of the things going on in the earth right now is just what needs to happen for us to upgrade. A lot of things, if you're trying to get to that better body, it requires sacrifice of some sort. Food, getting proper rest, cutting out all the candies and snacks, and working out, which in its own way can be, painful as those muscles are strengthening, right? So everything, we're in this spiritual upgrade, and sometimes to do that, we have to look at the darker parts of ourselves, integrate that shadow into the light, and that can be painful too. Okay, so here we go. Now let me add a bit of fuel to this firestorm. I suggest that the vast majority of these continually reiterated notions, particularly those that fall into the excuse category, are very likely untrue. It's then follows that we use our incomparably brilliant minds to obviously practice false thoughts on a daily basis. So, is it true? Has to be the first challenge to this repetitious, habitual, and unconscious activity of making excuses. And it's funny because I'm seeing that in the spiritual and healing world a lot. They are challenging their clients to ask, is this true? Is this true? Is it always true? And you will find that there is always different levels of the spectrum or different poles of the same thing. So we're going to ask ourselves, is it true? The first question, an excuses be gone paragon will lead you to an awareness of the personal nature of your justifications. And when you discuss how your mind selects untrue thoughts to guide you, you'll also reveal a major impetus to ending that habit that has held you back for so long in life. So finding the truth in 4 popular excuses. If you were to discover that a thought you use to define who you are to yourself and others is false, would you want to continue using it? Okay, that's a good question, because some habits, some choices, some thoughts, even though we know they're negative, they serve us, right? And that's where that being honest with ourselves and being around people we can trust to be able to process that is really important so that we can upgrade it. So obviously I pose this rhetorical question, since readers of a book like Excuses Be Gone probably don't want to hang on to anything that's preventing them from improving their quality of life. It's far more beneficial and desirable to be guided by the simple teaching that the truth shall set you free. So be open to the truth as you read this chapter. Your honest answers will assist you enormously in unearthing your thoughts and patterns. The question, is it true, demands that you determine whether or not you can be absolutely certain that those mental crutches you've been relying on are indeed accurate. If they are not, then you must decide right away to invalidate them. Using these excuses to hold you back from what you're drawn to or be akin to running your life on that basis of a lie. So we want to check ourselves. In the earliest days of our democracy, Thomas Paine wrote, "But such is the irresistible nature of truth that all it asks and all it wants is the liberty of appearing." This suggests that the truth only wants to show up. It doesn't wish to overwhelm or rule us. So let's allow the irresistible nature of truth to make its appearance right now. Under close scrutiny, the old familiar explanations almost always turn out to be false. It's important to test their truth. So here I'll use 4 of the 18 excuse categories to detailed in chapter 3 to illustrate working with the first question in our new paradigm. 1, it will be difficult. This is certainly one of the most common excuses. Such a meme keeps you from fulfilling your highest vision, but is it even correct? So the thing, guys, if we're thinking about this, if we begin whatever we're doing with that thought form, a lot of mankind won't even try. For instance, we're building this channel. If I am consumed with my camera gear or making videos or how I will appear or the fact that I'm still growing in my public speaking and teaching, then I will never start. And so that's the point. That's one thing I had to push through. You got to start somewhere. And the only way to get where you're going to be is to start sitting in the seat, a Morpheus, so to speak, and walking the walk. And so you don't have to be perfect. You just need to get started. So are you 100% certain that what you wish to accomplish is going to be a challenge? Is it plausible that what you desire isn't actually difficult, but might in fact require very little effort? While you may feel that isn't likely, you have to admit that the possibility of its being easy rather than hard is real. Keep in mind that all of the seemingly impossible happenings that occur under the guise of what Carl Jung calls synchronicity do so with a kind of ease and an inexplicably bizarre twist of fate, in which little or no effort is expended. This happens to us all quite frequently, particularly when we're more aligned with spirit than the material world. There seems to be a collaboration within destiny and a magical connection that takes place, making what was perceived to be hard rather easy. If the thought is it's going to be difficult, might not be true, and something could very well occur to make it not be difficult, which means that the habitual meme is false. So now you have a choice with this excuse. A, you can believe a thought, it's going to be difficult. That is very likely false, and more assuredly preventing you from accomplishing what you want. Or B, you can believe an opposite thought, and it will be easy. That could also be false, yet still assist you in fulfilling your desire. When there is a choice, the notion that something is possible or easy is hands down more inviting than the one that insists it's impossible or difficult. So which thought do you wish to hold? And if you were to look at David Goggins' work, David Goggins' work is all about facing every fear and all about doing everything that's hard. And then through the process, that process helps you know who you are. So I'm sure that we have mixed audiences here who actually, some people might like the thought it's difficult because it will drive them harder. But other people, the thought it is difficult would stop them in their tracks to never start. So what we're doing here right now is just wanting you to contemplate this thought in a way that will work for you. And also contemplate the fact that it is possible things could be much easier than you are making them to be. So I recall the advice that I received concerning getting my first textbook published a year or so after completing my doctorate studies. This is what I kept hearing. It's sure going to be hard. Getting published is impossible. You're unknown. Who would want to publish you? A 30-year-old novice has to say, who wants to hear, and the like. Yet I never bought into the logic. Consequently, I didn't adopt the it's going to be difficult meme. I sent out 100 copies of my manuscript, and within a week, I had 99 rejection letters. So listen to that. But I also had an offer from a small publisher in New Jersey. Essentially, what others thought of as a challenge didn't strike me as such. I knew instinctively that someone somewhere would be interested in what I had to say, and it all came about with relative ease. So hear this. Wayne Dyer, when he submitted to publish his first book, sent out 100 letters and received 99 rejections and 1 acceptance. And that 1 acceptance in that sea of the other 99, that one made it relatively easy for him to publish. And if you look at his body of work, the rest is history. So I want to encourage you, if that's you, keep pushing, keep finding the 1 in the 100. I also recall quite clearly my experience getting national publicity for Your Erroneous Zones, my first book written for the general public in 1976. The experts all proclaimed that it was next to impossible to get booked on The Tonight Show, The Phil Donahue Show, and The Today Show, and so on. And this ready-made excuse would have been a good reason as any to give up. And as it turned out, Howard Papush, a talented coordinator on The Tonight Show, read Your Erroneous Zones on a flight from New York to Los Angeles. He called me to come out for a pre-interview, and I was booked on the program a week later. Over the next 3 years, I made 37 appearances on The Tonight Show, and I was a guest on virtually every other national TV show as well. It turns out that this first excuse didn't apply at all. It was actually quite easy to get national coverage, media coverage. I only had to answer the phone. So, once again, if the belief that it will be difficult isn't 100% true, what would you choose to support that notion? Why would you choose to support that notion? Not once in 1976 did I say that getting on national TV would be hard. I trusted that the universe would put some experiences that matched my desires and that it would all work out for my highest good. And the most important point is that by staying aligned with this thinking, I had no need to fall back on tired, old, and untrue excuses. So, one thing that's coming to mind in this too is that persist through anything. If you've ever read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, he has this thread that goes through the chief aim, but he also talks about persist, 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 and never give up. And so this kind of brings to mind that to me when I'm listening to Wayne Dyer discuss how he got on these things, but it's also like, let's all at this point in our minds, in our heart, whatever level you're at, I would like to affirm, we are going to affirm that we will persist through our dreams, whatever our purposes are, and we will also take on the belief that it will be easy. There will be doors opening as we persist through our purposes and our service. Okay, number 2. This is another one. There will be family drama. Ooh. This is one of those rational people, and this is one of those rational people employed all the time to explain why they feel stuck or otherwise precluded from living the life they desire. On and on goes the reasons for staying put and doing the bidding of family members. My parents would have a fit. Everyone would be so upset with me. No one in my entire family has ever done such a thing. I'd be labeled a troublemaker or a rebel. No one has ever stood up to my father before, and it would be a nightmare, and so forth. So if you intend to use this excuse, ask yourself, can I be 100% certain that there will be family drama if I take the action I'm contemplating? And does the possibility exist that I could do the thing I desire and not generate any outbursts? Yes, if the potential exists that there won't be any problems, then this excuse had to go into the not true category. The opposite thought of there will be family drama is there will be no family drama. And if I carry out my plans as I would like them to unfold, you may think that without this excuse, you automatically will be placed on the risky path of doing something that you've been avoiding. But think again. You have a choice to believe that there will be either a family disruption or there won't. So since either one has the potential to be true, why not opt for the thought that could bring about your desired response? By staying aligned with the ideas of loved ones who will both understand and support you in your desire, you may very well see that happen. Or your relatives could indeed react in the disconcerting way that your excuse predict. But which thought do you think is more likely to produce the kind of results you'd like to have? The point is that you could be absolutely certain of what this excuse predicts. So I urge you not to select an explanation for your habitual behavior that's more assuredly untrue. I can tell you with some degree of certainty that by not expecting to be impacted with a negative or fearful way, you have a much better chance of eliciting the reaction you want. You have a higher chance of your family members being supportive when you support your own desires and intentions. So our families are supportive. And do be willing to endure any disapproval you might face by asserting your strong beliefs about your purpose in life. This disapproval will most assuredly morph into respect, gratitude, and even awe. In my own life, I know that if I fail to show up for a cousin's wedding, an uncle's funeral, a grandchild's birthday party, or any other family occasion, there will be no drama for me to withstand. I've shown my relatives that I am uninterested in dealing with censor or nagging, so I never have to use this second excuse. So you can bid adieu to this excuse yourself by simply asking, is it 100% true that my loved ones will disapprove if I, start a YouTube channel or start a healing business or start off in a different career, okay? Since you can't guarantee family drama all the time, revise your thoughts to reflect that there won't be any, period. Now you can't be certain that some turbulent or emotional episodes won't occur, but at least you've set your mind on what you desire and you're aligned with the idea of a peaceful family response. And cement your new reality by affirming, what I desire is already present and on its way. What I desire is already present and on its way. What I desire is already present and on its way. And when you eliminate the belief that there will be family drama from your life entirely, you once again will be reminded of what happens when you stay aligned with an expectation of the higher energy of peace, tranquility, and love. And you will be so much more likely to see this peaceful attitude emerging than if you're angry, frustrated, and hurt because no one ever understands you and your family. And so, we want to remember what we are giving out, what energy we're putting out, we're going to receive back. And we want to take responsibility for maybe how the family is responding to us based on maybe what we may be putting out. So if we're already moving into the family with this energy that it's going to be not good, or they're going to act a certain way about our achievement, then there's higher likelihood. So just work on grounding yourself, centering, getting that mind and heart coherence, especially because you're going to know who triggers you and who, pops your cork, so to speak. And you want to stay grounded and centered. And you want to be walking into each situation as much in the Christ as in Christ's person in everything we do. And as we emit that energy and we hold the love and the peace and the compassion as Christ did, and many other spiritual beings and human beings on this planet, we are actually helping to stabilize the field so that everybody is interacting in that higher order way. And of course, this is not encouraging anybody to be a doormat to or for anybody. You always want to practice your strong boundaries, but just as you're working through this and you're working into your new purposes, just kind of like he said, ask again over and over, is it true? And be very aware of what energy that you're feeling inside. What are your thoughts inside? What are your feelings inside? And just kind of see what's inside if it's outside too. And then you can kind of balance within yourself and see, well, how am I adding to this situation? All right, well, I want to just thank you so much for joining me. And Happy New Year. We're already chugging along we're 3 days into the new year, and I'm just wish you all health, wealth, and love in this new year, and I wish you everything good. All right, well, we're going to say good night to Believe, and we're going to, you know what's next. Peace in, peace.